Hi everyone. Oh, sorry, I'm having issues with my light. Welcome. Is it a good day? I hope it's a good day. Anyway, today's video, I said in the last one that I wasn't going to do another dinosaur video because, you know, I've done like 2 in a row, which I know is probably like overkill, pardon the pun. But I thought today I'd do something again, still with my leftovers. Can you see that? And all I did on this one was I used some watercolour, I think it was canvas paper, and I think it's just a Wilko's own brand canvas paper. I tried their watercolour paper as well. I've got to say I'm not a big fan, not knocking them because I'm always in there, but the canvas one definitely worked better than the watercolour piece. So all I did was I used some Tim Holtz Distress inks in the background, and because it's a leftover I can't even tell you what colours they used. But I used like a pearly kind of embossing powder and inked, these are the like little bumblebees from one of the, I think it's from Oddities, Tim Holtz stamp set, and heat embossed those and then started playing with colour and water and stuff. And then the pearly bit that you can hopefully see is, I think it's the copper, can't remember the name of it, what's it called? Perfect Pearls, also by Ranger and Tim Holtz, by Ranger, sorry. So I've cut that down to 4 by 5¼ make it a standard size card, but I wanted to use it, and funny enough, when I was going through my cardstock, the pearliness that came through with this coppery pearlescent thing going on there, the colour that came through and seemed to work best because of the pink that seems to come through on it is Blushing Bride. So I'm going to use Blushing Bride Stampin' Up cardstock for my card base. So this is 8½ by 5½, and excuse me. And then I've got a small piece of Blushing Bride, and I'm using the butterfly, the detailed butterfly from the Bold Butterflies frame set, framelits dies. So you'll get 2 in here, and it's the little one that's in there, the sort of detailed one. And I'm also going to use 2 stamp sets from Layering Love, which I believe is still in the annual catalogue. And I'm going to be using this little one that says, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. So I thought that was a lovely phrase. And I'm also going to use Enjoy the Little Things. So I've got them both mounted and ready to go. I've also got a, excuse me, oh, I forgot to bring this one over. One of the larger banners framelits from the Banners Framelits dies. And I'm using the second one in, so you get quite a few in there, so that's quite handy. And I'm going to use it on some vellum, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with the vellum now. So let's do this bit first, I think. So got that ready. Oh, this bit doesn't matter. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you a little technique, and I've known this technique for years. I've just not actually tried it myself, so fingers crossed that it works. I'm going to use my powder tool. You can use your, what am I trying to say? You could use your embossing buddy. And I'm just going to get quite a lot on here because this is vellum, and it will, although it will heat set quite quickly, you know, it is vellum, everything sticks to everything, in my world anyway. So what I'm first going to do is take my Versamark ink, and I'm going to ink the stamp up. And what will happen is this will allow the ink, this is a clear ink, it's a clear sticky ink, so it's kind of like a sticky, like a glue ink if you like. That's how I kind of refer to it. Excuse me. So I'm going to I'm gonna ink this up really well. God. And then I'm going to use soft suede, and I'm actually going... Oh, that was my cat. And yes, to the lady, yeah, I haven't replied to her, but one of their new my new viewers, and I think she's subscribed as well. So thank you. Can't remember your name, but I will reply to you. Yes, it was my dog in the previous one of the previous videos, having a little snore as he does. Right. So, and that was my cat shooting around. She's lost the plot, big time. So I've inked this up in Versamark. I'm now going to go into my colour that I want, and this way it will allow you to heat emboss and get your powder on, so because the Versamark will allow you enough time to get the powder on it, so that way you can actually use any... Oh, I wanted a clear one then, didn't I? Hold on a sec, try that again. You want a clear embossing powder with this one. But this way it, I changed my mind I think at some point. But this way it will allow you to get whatever colour you like on your... Like any ink pad that you've got, this will then allow you to use it as a colour for your embossing powder. Whew, that wafted a bit. Did that make sense? So by using the Versamark, it just allows you more time to get your embossing powder onto it, and that way it means that you've got all those different dyeing colours that you've already got. You know what it's like. Got like a billion of them. Yeah, maybe not a billion, but you know what I mean. And that way, you know, you've got more variety in colours. So as long as you've got some clear embossing powder, ooh, more powder, you'll be set. So let me just... Oh, how do I do this? Oh, I can't get that in there. They're driving me mad. Right. Anyway, now I'm just going to heat set this. Now with vellum, because it's such a thin... Let's get the water out of the way. Because it's such a thin paper, you want to make sure your heat tool's heated for a few seconds and then heat set it. It will heat really quickly, but it will, if you stay on it too long, it warps quite severely. So hold on 1 second. While you're doing, keep moving your heat tool, it also stops it from burning in one place. Got all of it. So you see there's not too much warping going on there. What is my dog doing? And yeah, so there you go. So you've got the same colour on there, but it's heat embossed. Woohoo! So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm just going to die cut these, and all I'm going to do, and this will also help to flatten this, just going to line this up so that it's somewhat central in the actual... I might line it up like that because I have another idea. Yeah, so I might line it up a bit like this, so it's slightly closer to the bottom part of the die. I'm going to die cut that, and I'm also going to die cut my excuse me, my little butterfly. So I'll be back in a second. Right, I'm back. So there's the embossed vellum. Now this is the die that's cut this out, so I'm just going to show you quickly how to use one of these. This is just a what's it called? It's our die brush, I think that's what it's called. But basically, if you've got dies that get stuck like really intricate dies might do this. Just put it face down onto the sponge and just roll your little brush over it, and it will help to release it, and it will help to pop out all the pieces, which actually has popped all of them out, so that's good. And there you go. Simple, right? Everything's simple in my world. Right, so let's put this together now. I've got my cardstock. So this I want it 4 1/4. Just had to remember which way I was doing this. Right, so there's the card base. It's going to stand this way. I think that was what I was going to do. Yeah, oh yes. So there's the piece. What is that? Get off. There's this piece. It's going to sit just on there, but before I put it on there, I'm going to use my scoreboard. And you see how it had the, when I die cut this, I die cut it slightly so the phrase was slightly lower or closer to this part here. So on the top here, I want to get about the same distance there, up here, if I can. That's probably about right. And I just want to score it. Let me just score that again. Right, so that I've got a little score mark. This will make sense in a minute. Because also, once you do this sort of thing to something like vellum, there's no going back. Because that happens, right? But I want that there. So, because also vellum is kind of tricky to adhere to stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to loop that bit that I've scored. I'm going to loop it around the back here. I think I'm going to have it this way. I'm going to just loop this around there, and then I've got my little butterfly. That can go on there somewhere, maybe about there. So let's start. If I find my adhesive, that would be useful. By putting some adhesive on here. I could have it this way. No, let's go this way. I'm always changing my mind, aren't I? It's somewhat in the middle, and then just stick it down there. Right, but obviously this bit's going to be a bit flappy. So I'm going to get some adhesive just on the back here. I'm going to use the fine tip glue pen because it has exactly that. It's a really fine tip. And before I even do that, I'm just going to grab a big block, because what I want to do is I want to be able to stick it down and then just hold it in place while it dries. It doesn't take long to dry. And then all I'm going to do is go just really carefully on the back of some of these, the words and that. Not the words, the letters. You knew what I meant though, didn't you? And sometimes you can't avoid it, so there may be some that you can see a little bit through, but let's just try that. Just going to leave it like that. Just need it to hold down enough. I don't need it to sort of super stick, but excuse me. I'll leave that for a minute. Excuse me. Right, so that should have had long enough. Do you see how it's just holding it down? It's not, you know, it's not going to go anywhere. Right, so on the back here, because this is slightly warped because of the paper, you could always leave this underneath, underneath some books or something overnight, or, you know, something like that, just to try and flatten it. But because I don't have that, I'm just going to use a ton of tape, foam tape, and just cover the entire back. Let's go this way first. And yes, I'm covering the entire back. The reason for this is also so that it stays as sturdy as possible because of the warping. So that will help to flatten that out when it's on the card. So let's do this. Let's get this bit stuck down, and then I'll... Usually I'd put the rest of it together, but I'm going with it now. Ooh, come back. Right. So that's going to open that way. Do this way. Right. Somewhat straight. There's the front so far, and I've got this little guy, and I'm going to stick him over there. I think I'm just going to use a glue dot, just a mini glue dot, just to stick him there, I think. Because, let's see, about, where do I want it? About there. Now what you can do with these is you can just lift the wings a little, like so. They look like they're fluttering. Flutter. And then I have some la-di-da. Yes, I said it, la-di-da. Bliggy dot things. They're not really bliggy, but just little dots. What do you call them? Enamel dots. And I thought that maybe just the pink. Oh, now I don't really want another colour. That pink, or that pink. I think that one actually. Just going to stick it to the middle of the butterfly. Just one little doodad. Right, and then the inside, I've got the soft suede ink, and I've got the Enjoy the Little Things. Now I've lined this up already because this stamp is that sort of shape. You can see that, so it's not, you know, I don't know, it would bug me. So it wasn't, you know, as straight as I could get it for me. Good old Stampin' Magic. Excuse me, still got this pesky cough. Look at that. Oh, got a bit more on there than I needed, but it's okay. We can fix that. I'll show you how. If I can find some sort of, just use a, not that one. That's not going to work. Use just a craft knife and just sort of gently scrape you can more or less get rid of it so it doesn't look like it was even there. Let's just see if this will help as well. Just soften that bit. You can sort of tell, but not as much. So that's the inside. The outside is coordinating ink. And then, oh, I may as well, while I'm here, do the back. Always do the back of your cards, guys. That lets people know that you made it just for them. That's my new thing. So, bit of a long-winded card. Apologies. But here's another way of using a leftover. I literally was lucked out, and the Blushing Bride matched pretty well with the sort of pearliness that's in here. So the colour worked really well with it. So yeah, so I think that is that. And that's the inside. And the back. Don't forget the back. Right, there you go, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!